Yesterday I posted a video about these coral reef earrings that I'm making, and I mentioned in the video how I hand cut everything. And I got a lot of comments about my hands and how people are so worried about my hands and they're really hoping that I'm protecting my hands, and then lots of advice about how to protect my hands. And I have such a strong, unpleasant reaction to comments like that. And it feels really unfair that I have an unpleasant reaction, because I know that people are just trying to be kind and they're just trying to be helpful and there's a genuine concern there. And so I love that part. But I don't like the comments and I don't respond well to them. They do something weird in my heart. So I had to think about it a lot, and I wanted to kind of talk about it. And it's too long for a short video, because people are complicated and I have complicated feelings about this. So I'm actually making a YouTube video about it, and I'm just putting like the brief explainer on my other social channel, talking about making art and the health of my hands. There are a few things that are important for people to know, and important considerations. The first consideration that everyone, including myself, should take into account when giving advice is that our advice is based off of our life experiences. And so it might not fit the recipient of the advice. And so I'm a big fan, and I'm a former chronic advice giver, but I'm a big fan of not offering up unsolicited advice. And as the recipient of a lot of unsolicited advice, I really don't like it. I just don't. And there are reasons, and really valid reasons. So I want to talk about how my brain works as an artist, medical conditions that I have that affect my hands, how old I am, which gives some insight into how long I've been using my hands this way. It's a lot, but like my life, much like your life, is unique to me. Your life is unique to you. I could offer you all the advice in the world based off of my experience, but it just might not be relevant to yours. So first, why does my brain respond so negatively to unsolicited advice? Well, I grew up in a pretty abusive family and was often belittled and called stupid. And because my family was so abusive, I left home at a very young age, which means I also dropped out of high school, which further fed that belief that I was stupid, because not only had my family always told me I was stupid, but then as a high school dropout, I basically just proved that I was stupid, or so I thought. So I grew up into my 30s believing that I was the dumbest person in the room, and I acted accordingly. If people gave me advice, I took it all the time because they must be right and I must be wrong because I'm the dumbest person in the room. And when I was 33, I think, I ended up going to a community college and getting my associate's degree. And I took classes that were so hard for me just to prove that I could. I took biology, I took organic chemistry, I took calculus. I had to take so many like baby math classes to get to calculus for like level, to get to physics level, to get to organic chemistry level. Like I worked really hard. And I got my associate's degree, graduated with honors, which means I did well in these hard classes. And for the first time in my life, I was like, oh, I'm not the dumbest person in the room. Like I'm actually smart and I have this ability to figure things out. And when I tell you it was life-changing. So the anxiety disorder. Part of my anxiety disorder is that I have to do this all the time. And if my hands aren't occupied doing something, I claw at my skin and I pick at my skin and I will pull my hair out. So keeping my hands occupied is something that is actually healthy for me. I am also really deeply, deeply connected to my art. And so being hands on is also really important because I am emotionally connected to my art, and watching a machine do it just doesn't do it for me. Not to mention the fact that I have tried machines and I hate them, hate them. And so, again, asking you to trust that I am smart enough and old enough to figure some of these things out by myself, which means I have figured out by myself that I don't like a Cricut and I don't want to use it. And I like using my hands and I like cutting things. And you might still be afraid that my methods are going to ruin my hands. So let's talk about other health concerns. So a few years ago, 2021, August 2021, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which if you followed me for a long time, you know that. And I am thankfully, as of today, cancer free. But it was a journey, right? Breast cancer is a journey. Oh my gosh. And part of that journey was radiation and 3 different surgeries. So part of the, not complications, just side effects from the surgery is that I have radiation fibrosis. I developed very severe lymphedema in my chest and in my trunk, like painful, and nerve damage in here because of the lymph nodes that they had to remove because I had cancer in my lymph nodes. And so it causes my arm to ache. And my arm, because I'm missing lymph nodes, is at risk for lymphedema. And one of the things that can trigger lymphedema is repetitive motion. So when I have people in my comments who are like, you don't understand about repetitive motion, I ended up having to go to physical therapy. My love, I was in physical therapy for 2 years for my arm because of breast cancer treatment. And it was drilled into my head what a risk repetitive motion is for me. Because lymphedema is, I don't want it in my arm. My arm, and I already have weird side effects that bother me in my arm. So I do understand about repetitive motion. I definitely do. So another part of my cancer treatment was medication called aromatase inhibitors. And aromatase inhibitors stop your body from making additional estrogen. Like I had to get a full hysterectomy as part of my cancer preventative for future cancer. And then they put me on aromatase inhibitors. And there are 3 different kinds of aromatase inhibitors. And I tried them all. And every one of them disabled my hands. So the first one made this thumb not work. And I don't know if you know, but you need your thumbs if you are a person who makes things with your hands. The second one made my hands and arms go regularly numb. And then the third one took out this finger, which again, need your hands, right? So I had to have the heartbreaking conversation with myself and my husband and my doctors about, do I want to live the rest of my life with my hands not working because of this medication to prevent another cancer occurrence? Or do I want to keep my hands and roll the dice with life expectancy and potential cancer? And I chose my hands. And so so it's important for me to share with you that I choose my hands every day. And I also choose my mental health. And my mental health is closely tied to the work that I do with my hands, which is closely tied to my mental health because of the artwork. It's all tied together. And these are things that I think about all the time. I'm not happy if I'm not creating with my hands. If my hands stop working, I won't be able to be happy creating with my hands. I understand all of that, and I have already had to make heartbreaking and difficult choices regarding my hands. So again, when people are offering well-intentioned and well-meaning advice about the health of my hands, I know that you mean well. I truly do. But I don't want it. and it's hard for me to hear, and it does trigger some negative things in my head. So because I love you and I believe that you love me, I hope that this conversation helped clarify some things. And I am respectfully asking for no unsolicited advice regarding how I care for my body. Okay? And I hope I have a good day. I hope you have a good day. I hope we all have a good day because we deserve it. And when I said I love you, I meant it. I truly did and do.